The flashbulbs exploded like gunfire as Tamara Bennett stepped onto the red carpet at her sister Hannah's premiere, her fingers intertwined with Emily's in a way that no one could mistake for friendship. The whispers started immediately, spreading through the crowd faster than the evening news could report it. By the time their parents arrived, the family name that had been built on generations of impeccable reputation was already teetering on the edge of ruin. Tamara felt the weight of every stare, but she refused to let go of Emily's hand. At 28, the Bennett twins had always been mirrors of each other. Same dark hair, same sharp green eyes, same determined jawline. Yet their paths had diverged years ago. Hannah had chased the spotlight and caught it. Her latest film had just opened to massive box office numbers, and the industry was calling her the next big thing. Tamara had chosen law school, then a quiet practice in Boston, and a secret life she could no longer hide. Inside the after-party ballroom at the Four Seasons, crystal chandeliers cast golden light over silk gowns and tailored tuxedos. Hannah stood at the center of a circle of producers, laughing that bright, camera-ready laugh. When she spotted Tamara and Emily, her smile froze for half a second, long enough for Tamara to see the panic flicker behind it. Their mother, Eleanor, elegant in pearls and a navy gown, clutched their father's arm. Richard Bennett, retired judge and pillar of Boston society, looked as if he had been slapped. "Tamara, darling," Eleanor said, voice tight as she pulled her aside near the bar. "Who is this friend? And why are you holding her hand like that in public?" Tamara met her mother's eyes without flinching. "This is Emily, Mom. My wife. We got married 6 months ago in a small ceremony in Vermont. I'm done pretending." The words landed like stones in still water. Richard's face turned crimson. Hannah excused herself from the producers and rushed over, heels clicking sharply. "Tam, what the hell?" she hissed, grabbing her twin's elbow. "You couldn't wait one more night? This is my premiere, my moment. The press is already circling." Emily stood quietly beside Tamara, her short blonde hair catching the light, her calm presence the only anchor in the storm. She had begged Tamara to wait, to ease the family in gently, but Tamara was finished with gentle. 5 years of stolen weekends, coded text messages, and separate hotel rooms had carved hollows inside her. Tonight the truth was out and there was no taking it back. Richard's voice cut through the music. "We are leaving. Now. All of us." Hannah's agent appeared, phone already in hand, whispering about damage control. Tamara watched her sister's face twist between loyalty and fear, and for the first time she wondered whether blood really was thicker than everything else. The car ride home to the family estate in Beacon Hill was silent except for the low hum of the engine. Eleanor stared out the window, lips pressed thin. Richard gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. Hannah sat beside Tamara in the back, texting furiously. Emily had taken a separate Uber at Tamara's insistence. Some battles had to be fought alone. When they reached the sprawling brownstone, Richard slammed the door behind them. "Explanation. Now." Tamara lifted her chin. "I love her. We're married. That's the explanation." Her father's laugh was bitter. "Love? You're throwing away everything we built. Your sister's career, our standing, the trust funds we've protected for decades. For this." Hannah stepped between them. "Dad, stop. Tam, you know how this looks. The tabloids are already calling it the Bennett bombshell. My director just texted asking if it's true." Tamara felt the first crack in her resolve, but she held firm. "I'm not asking you to understand. I'm telling you who I am." Eleanor sank onto the antique sofa, tears streaking her perfectly applied makeup. "We raised you both the same. Church every Sunday, debutante balls, the best schools. How did we fail you?" The question hung in the air like smoke. Tamara wanted to scream that they hadn't failed her. They had simply never seen her. Instead she said quietly, "You didn't fail me. You just never asked the right questions." Richard paced the Persian rug. "Tomorrow we issue a statement. Hannah will say it was a misunderstanding, a publicity stunt gone wrong. You will go back to being the respectable daughter we know." "No," Tamara said. The single word echoed off the high ceilings. Hannah's eyes widened. "Tam, please. Think about what you're doing to us." But Tamara had been thinking for years. She turned and walked upstairs to the bedroom that had once been hers and Hannah's, the one with matching canopy beds and faded posters of the same boy bands. She closed the door, pulled out her phone, and sent Emily a single text. "It's done. I love you." Downstairs, the argument continued late into the night. Tamara lay awake listening to the rise and fall of voices, each one carving deeper lines between the people she loved most. She had expected anger. She had not expected the fear that now settled cold in her chest, the fear that choosing truth might cost her everything. Morning light filtered through lace curtains, painting the breakfast table in soft gold. No one had slept. Eleanor pushed eggs around her plate while Richard read the morning papers, his face growing darker with every headline. Bennett twins' secret lesbian marriage rocks Hollywood. Hannah sat across from Tamara, dark circles under her eyes, scrolling through her phone with shaking fingers. "3 sponsors already pulled out of my next project," she said quietly. "My publicist wants a joint interview where we both deny it." Tamara set her coffee down. "I won't lie, Hannah. Not anymore." Her twin's gaze was desperate. "You don't get it. This isn't just about you. Dad's law firm partners are calling. Mom's charity board is questioning her position. Our entire world is built on the image we present. One crack and it all falls." Richard folded the newspaper with deliberate calm. "We have an appointment with the family attorney at 10. The trust documents need review." Tamara's stomach tightened. She knew what that meant. The Bennett fortune, properties, investments, the vacation home in Nantucket, had always been promised equally to both daughters. But clauses existed for moral conduct, language written decades ago when such things were never questioned. Eleanor reached across the table, her hand trembling. "Sweetheart, we love you. But love doesn't pay the bills or protect your sister's future. Think of the children you'll never have the way we envisioned. Think of the example you're setting." The words stung more than any shout. Tamara stood, chair scraping. "The example I'm setting is honesty. Something this family has forgotten how to value." Hannah followed her into the hallway. "Tam, wait. Remember when we were 15 and I got caught sneaking out? You took the blame so I could keep my scholarship. I'm asking you to do the same now, just for a little while. Until the movie runs its course. Then we can figure this out quietly." Tamara studied her sister's face, the one she had shared since the womb. "You want me to go back in the closet to protect your Oscar chances?" Hannah flinched. "It's not forever. Just until the press loses interest." The betrayal landed like a physical blow. Tamara stepped back. "I can't believe you're asking me that." She grabbed her coat and left before the tears came. Outside, Boston's autumn air carried the scent of fallen leaves. She walked to the common, sat on a bench, and called Emily. "They want me to lie. Hannah wants me to lie." Emily's voice was steady. "Then don't. We knew this would be hard, love. But you're not alone." Tamara closed her eyes. "I'm scared they'll cut me out completely." "Then we build our own life," Emily said. "Together." By afternoon, the family attorney, Mr. Caldwell, had arrived at the house. Tamara returned to find documents spread across the dining table. Richard looked up, expression carved from stone. "We're amending the trust. The primary beneficiary will now be Hannah, with conditions for continued moral behavior. Your share will be held in escrow pending reconsideration." Tamara stared at the papers. "You're disinheriting me because I'm gay?" "Not disinheriting," Caldwell corrected smoothly. "Protecting the family legacy." Hannah wouldn't meet her eyes. That night, Tamara packed a suitcase. Eleanor stood in the doorway, voice breaking. "Don't leave like this. We can fix this." "There's nothing to fix, Mom. I'm not broken." Hannah appeared behind their mother, arms crossed. "You're really choosing her over us?" Tamara zipped the bag. "I'm choosing me. For the first time." She moved into Emily's small apartment in Cambridge. The space was modest, second-hand furniture. Books stacked everywhere, but it felt like freedom. Emily held her while she cried, then made tea and listened as Tamara recounted every painful word. "They'll come around," Emily whispered. "Families always do eventually." Tamara wasn't so sure. The next morning, her phone exploded with notifications. A tabloid had published photos from the premiere. Hannah Bennett's twin sister marries woman. "Is this the end of America's sweetheart?" Hannah's agent left a voicemail demanding damage control. Tamara deleted it. At her law office, Colleagues offered awkward congratulations mixed with sidelong glances. One partner pulled her aside. This might affect your partnership track. Clients are conservative. Tamara smiled tightly. Then maybe I need different clients. That evening Hannah showed up at the apartment unannounced, eyes red. Dad changed the will this afternoon. Everything goes to me now, with a clause that if I support you publicly my share is reduced. Mom's crying nonstop. The family is falling apart, Tam. Please. Just post one statement saying it was a phase or something. Tamara looked at her sister. The girl who had once shared every secret, every dream. You're asking me to betray my wife to save your career? Hannah's voice cracked. I'm asking you to save our family. The door closed softly behind her twin, leaving Tamara alone with the weight of her choice. Weeks blurred into a tense standoff. Hannah's new film premiered to mixed reviews, the tabloids blaming family scandal for the dip in box office. Sponsors continued to drop. Richard Bennett held a press conference announcing the creation of a new family foundation dedicated to traditional values, a clear message. Eleanor stopped answering Tamara's calls. Tamara threw herself into work, taking on pro bono cases for LGBTQ youth. Emily supported her quietly, cooking meals and reminding her to breathe. Their small wedding rings glinted whenever their hands touched, a private promise amid the chaos. One rainy Thursday, Hannah appeared at Tamara's office soaked and shaking. I need to talk. Off the record. They walked to a nearby cafe, steam rising from their coffees. Hannah's hands trembled around her mug. The studio wants me to do a redemption interview. They suggested I say you're confused, that I'm trying to help you find the right path. Tamara's chest tightened. And you're considering it? Hannah looked away. They're threatening to pull funding for my next project. Dad says if I don't distance myself publicly, he'll cut me off too. I'm trapped, Tam. I built my whole life on this image. The words echoed the fear Tamara had carried since childhood. Hannah had always been the golden child, the one their parents pinned their dreams on. Tamara had been the quiet support. Now the roles were reversed and the support was gone. I won't ask you to lie for me, Tamara said softly. But I won't lie for you either. Hannah's eyes filled. You're my sister. My twin. Doesn't that count for anything? It counted for 28 years, Tamara replied. Until it didn't. That night Emily found Tamara staring at old photos on her laptop, birthday parties, graduations, the two of them in matching dresses at their debutante ball. She's scared, Emily said, wrapping her arms around her. Fear makes people do terrible things. I know, Tamara whispered. But so does love. The next confrontation came at the annual Bennett Family Gala, a black tie event at the Boston Public Library. Tamara had not planned to attend, but Emily convinced her it was time to stop hiding. They arrived together, Tamara in a simple black gown, Emily in deep emerald. Heads turned. Whispers followed. Richard spotted them first. His face hardened. Eleanor clutched her pearls. Hannah, standing beside a famous director, went pale. Tamara walked straight to her parents. I'm here as myself. If you want me gone, say it. Richard's voice was ice. You're embarrassing this family. Then maybe the family needs to change, Tamara answered. Hannah pulled her aside near the marble staircase. Dad's meeting with the lawyer again tomorrow. He's adding a clause that any public association with you affects my inheritance. I begged him not to, but he won't listen. Tamara searched her twin's face. Then stand with me. Tell him no. Hannah's silence was the loudest answer. Later in the powder room, Eleanor cornered her. Your father is dying inside. The stress is affecting his heart. Is this really worth it? Tamara's voice broke for the first time. Mom, I'm dying inside every time I pretend. Doesn't that count? Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. She quickly blinked away. We raised you to put family first. I am putting family first, Tamara said. My family, Emily and me. The gala ended in strained toasts and forced smiles. On the ride home, Emily held her hand. You were brave tonight. Tamara leaned her head on Emily's shoulder. I feel like I'm tearing everything apart. The following morning the amended will arrived by courier. Tamara's name was crossed out in red ink. Hannah received everything. with a codicil stating that any financial support to Tamara would void her share. Richard's signature was bold and final. Tamara stared at the document for a long time. Then she picked up the phone and called her sister. "Is this what you wanted?" Hannah's voice was hoarse. "I tried to stop him. I swear I did." "But you didn't," Tamara said and hung up. Winter arrived early, blanketing Boston in snow that muffled the city's usual noise. Tamara and Emily spent Thanksgiving alone, cooking a small turkey and watching old movies. The quiet was peaceful yet heavy with absence. Hannah's face appeared on every magazine cover. "America's Sweetheart Overcomes Family Scandal." And the headlines made Tamara's stomach turn. One evening in December, Hannah showed up at their apartment with a bottle of wine and red-rimmed eyes. "Can I come in?" Emily excused herself to give them space. Hannah sat on the couch, twisting the wine bottle in her hands. "The studio loved the redemption narrative. My career is back on track. But every night I lie awake wondering if I sold you out." Tamara poured 2 glasses. "You didn't sell me out. You chose yourself. There's a difference." Hannah's laugh was bitter. "Dad keeps saying I made the right decision. Mom sends me articles about conversion therapy. I deleted them all, but the guilt stays." They talked until midnight, about childhood summers at the lake house, the time they switched places for a math test, the way their father's approval had always felt like oxygen. Hannah admitted she had been terrified of losing the spotlight she had chased since they were 6. Tamara admitted she had been terrified of losing the only family she had ever known. Before leaving, Hannah hugged her tightly. "I miss you. Every day." "I miss you too," Tamara whispered. "But I can't come back." Hannah nodded, tears falling. "I know." Christmas brought fresh pain. The annual Bennett family photo was taken without Tamara. Eleanor sent a card with a single line. "We still love you. Come home." Tamara pinned it to the fridge but didn't reply. In January, a major network offered Hannah a talk show appearance to discuss family values. She accepted. Tamara watched the interview alone while Emily was at work. Hannah spoke eloquently about forgiveness and prayer, never once mentioning her sister's name. The betrayal burned like acid. That night Tamara drafted a statement of her own. She posted it on her newly created social media. Simple, factual, and unapologetic. "My name is Tamara Bennett. I am a lesbian. I am married to the love of my life. I will no longer hide who I am to protect anyone else's image." The post went viral within hours. Supporters flooded her inbox. Hate mail arrived too. Hannah called at 2 a.m. "Why would you do that? The studio is furious. They're talking about rewriting my contract." "Because it's my truth," Tamara said. "You chose your path. I'm choosing mine." The next day Richard suffered a mild heart attack. The hospital called Tamara at work. She rushed to his bedside, heart pounding. Eleanor sat beside him, pale and exhausted. Hannah arrived minutes later, still in full makeup from a shoot. Richard opened his eyes and saw both daughters. For a moment the old warmth flickered. Then he turned to Hannah. "You did the right thing, sweetheart. Don't let her drag you down." Tamara stood there, frozen, as her father's words confirmed what she had feared most. She had become the enemy. Emily met her outside the hospital, wrapping her in a fierce hug. "You are not the villain here." But the words felt hollow against the beeping monitors and her mother's silent tears. Spring brought fragile hope and fresh wounds. Tamara's law practice grew, clients seeking her out because of her visibility. She started a small support group for young LGBTQ professionals from conservative families. Emily proposed they renew their vows in a public ceremony, and Tamara agreed. The date was set for June. Hannah's career soared. She won a major award and dedicated it to "Family Who Taught Me Strength." The speech made no mention of Tamara. In private, however, Hannah began texting late at night, short messages like, "Saw a photo of you and Em today. You look happy." Tamara replied once, "We are." The final confrontation came in May at the family lake house, where Richard had summoned everyone for a reconciliation meeting. Tamara arrived with Emily hand in hand. The house smelled of pine and old memories. Richard sat in his favorite armchair, thinner now, oxygen tube at his nose. "I've revised the will one last time," he announced. "Hannah remains the sole heir. Tamara, you are excluded entirely." Any attempt to contest will result in legal fees paid from what little you have left. Tamara felt the ground shift beneath her. After everything, this is how you end it? Eleanor whispered. We gave you every chance. Hannah stared at the floor. Tamara looked at each of them, her father's stubborn pride, her mother's quiet sorrow, her twins' averted eyes. Then she turned to Emily. Let's go home. As they walked out, Hannah followed. Tam, wait. I didn't want this. I begged him. Tamara stopped on the porch. But you let it happen. That's what hurts most. Hannah's voice cracked. I'm scared I'll lose everything too. You already lost me, Tamara said softly. That night, back in Cambridge, Emily held her while she cried for the family that no longer existed. We'll build our own legacy, Emily promised. One based on truth. Tamara nodded against her shoulder. The pain was raw, but beneath it something stronger was growing: freedom. The following week Hannah called, voice trembling. Dad had another episode. The doctors say stress is killing him. He wants to see you one last time. Tamara went alone. Richard lay in the hospital bed, eyes weary. I'm sorry, he whispered. I only ever wanted to protect you both. I know, Tamara said. But protection shouldn't cost me my life. She left without promising anything. Some bridges once burned could never be rebuilt. Summer arrived with warm winds and the scent of new beginnings. Tamara and Emily renewed their vows in a small park overlooking the Charles River. A handful of friends and colleagues attended. No family. Hannah sent a text. I hope you're happy. I really do. Tamara replied with a single heart emoji. The public ceremony was simple yet profound. Emily read vows she had written the night Tamara first came out to her parents. Tamara spoke of choosing love over fear. When they kissed, the small crowd cheered. For the first time in months, Tamara felt light. News of the vow renewal reached the Bennetts. Eleanor called the next day, voice hesitant. We saw the photos. You looked beautiful. Tamara's throat tightened. Thank you, Mom. A long silence. Your father, he's changed the will again. He's leaving a small trust for any future grandchildren. No conditions. It was the closest thing to an apology Tamara would ever receive. She accepted it for what it was, not reconciliation but a crack in the wall. Hannah visited 2 weeks later, unannounced, carrying a box of old photos. They sat on the apartment floor, laughing and crying over memories. I was wrong, Hannah said finally. I chose the spotlight over my sister. I'll never forgive myself. Tamara took her hand. I forgive you. But I won't go back to being hidden. Hannah nodded. I don't expect you to. I just want my sister back in my life, however you'll have me. Slowly, carefully, the twins began rebuilding. Coffee dates. Late-night calls. Hannah quietly donated to Tamara's support group. Richard's health stabilized, though the relationship remained strained. Eleanor sent birthday cards with real messages instead of platitudes. Tamara kept her maiden name professionally, but added Emily's last name on all personal documents. She thrived in her work, advocating for others who faced the same impossible choice. Emily finished her master's and started teaching. Their life was modest, honest, and entirely theirs. One crisp autumn evening, standing on their tiny balcony watching the city lights, Tamara turned to Emily. I lost my first family, but I gained something better. Emily smiled. We both did. The price had been high, relationships fractured, inheritance gone, years of pain. But the freedom was real and the love was unbreakable. True or false? Family honor should always outweigh personal truth, no matter the cost.